Hello, my Neppers! This is the NepQueen for the final time on my Grinding 101 series. At least for Rebirth 1. But yeah, here we are, the last episode. It feels kind of bittersweet. I started this small guide series at the beginning of 2021. Pretty crazy. And 5 episodes isn't much, I know. But it's enough. At least for me, it's enough. Finding grind methods does take some time after all. It could take me months. But yeah, figure for a game as frustrating as this for a newcomer, having small grind guides can help them have an easier time with it. Sometimes I wish I had these when I started, but nah, I had to figure things out myself most of the time, and I barely made it through the series with my levels a lot of the time. But all the time I've played these games for the decade that it's been around, it's honestly given me a new appreciation for grinding as a whole. Annoying as it is, it can be necessary for gaming as a whole. It was an alien concept to me as someone who didn't game as much back in the day, but now I never game in any franchise without it. The grinding of this series taught me a lot, so I appreciate it and think it deserves some recognition. So that's why I made this series. It makes me feel good to help you guys out there, players both long time and new, to get to higher places. It's a good time, which is why it's bittersweet that this is the last episode, because I still haven't looked into the other games, so it will be a while. But yeah, for now, this series is coming to a close. So let's finish everything off with a bang, everyone. In this final episode, I will be showing you how to get from level 80 to level 99 and over. Let's get this show on the road. Okay, so for this video, I actually have a few methods to try out for this last one. So one of them involves a mechanic, the second is my personal way to grind, and the third is a method that someone else came up with. Truth be told, if you're at level 80 or over, you're pretty much at a good stage to experiment with whatever bosses you can find. So grinding at this level may not be as hard as you think, just as long as you're careful and save often. So feel free to experiment with any bosses or risky bosses of various dungeons, and just make sure to save just in case you are way in over your head. Anywho, with that out of the way, let's go through these methods, shall we? So, as I vaguely mentioned in episode 4 towards the end, one of the methods I'm going to talk about is, of course, the Colosseum. The Colosseum can actually be unlocked earlier in the game than this. This was just when I decided to bring it into relevance. The plan to build a Colosseum is located in a chirper in Chapter 5. Shiro Pluto, who is located in Leanbox, carries this plan, so make sure you don't miss it. The materials needed for this plan to be built are 3 Crimson Stones. Now, you technically can get these stones early to build the Colosseum, but it's a lot more complicated. In my opinion, the best time to unlock the Colosseum is in Chapter 7. I'll explain why. Once you gain access to the Neo Geo Front dungeon, you can find Crimson Stones easily from gathering spots. That's right, you just gather them instead of looking for them from complicated dungeons or quests. Building the Colosseum costs about 500 memory space from your memory vice, so if you have enough, good on you. Once you build it, read the instructions and hopefully you can find a good fight for you to take on. Make sure you look at the recommended level if you don't want to get yourself smashed. The good thing, however, is if you lose, there is no penalty for you. It's just a loss. Your team won't lose anything but the round, and maybe their pride, and that's it. So no need to fret over getting a game over from it. Nah, you're just testing the waters here. There are some battles that can be won easily and give you decent experience at best, but it's the harder bosses that really reward you. But these fights can be a challenge. I personally don't use the Colosseum myself in Rebirth 1, so I don't really have much to say about it. Some fights can be unlocked via DLC if you purchase it, and if you unlock the CPU candidates, you can also talk to them to get plans for personal fights with them that can reward you with a lot of experience. They reward a lot, but getting the materials for it can be a real pain because they give you a plan. They don't just give you access to the fight. You have to make it. One of the things that the Colosseum can be used for is shares. The shares of certain nations can go up and down depending on if you win. This can be a good way to rank the shares up to being even if you haven't yet, or it can be a good shortcut to unlocking the CPU candidates rather than going on quests repetitive times. So, the Colosseum can be used for grinding as well as a method for you to get shares up and down. So play around with it, maybe it'll be of some help to you. That's all I'll say on the Colosseum, as I personally don't use it myself. If any of you want to share your Colosseum grinding methods that have worked for you, please feel free to in the comments below. I'm sure people would appreciate it. Okay, now to my personal method of grinding that I have found out. So guess where you're going for the last grind for the finish line? If you said back to the 3 dungeons that we got the candidates, then you are correct. The boss you'll be facing is in the same area. Now the choice is up to you. You can choose from the Neo Geo Front, Factory 459, or M Frontier Cave, just as long as you have the Add Enemies plan still turned on. If you'd like, you can face the same 3 bosses again to start your grind in a good spot. The 3 bosses we took on for the Candidate's Birth item drops can be good for grinding, as each of them gives about 100k experience. It can be a good start for you. But just like in all Add Enemies plans, there's one boss for practice and one boss for even more EXP. And in each area, there is another boss in the room for you to face. For the Neo Geo Front, it's the Gebachu. For the Factory 459, it's the Zeta Hirobo. And in M Frontier, it's the Aldebaran. My personal choice for the 3 is the Aldebaran. But all of these can be good grinding fodder for you. In order from least EXP to most EXP, I would go in order from the Gebachu to the Zeta Hirobo and the Aldebaran last. Pick your target and get started. For my guide, I will tell you all tips to take on the boss of my choice being the Aldebaran, but you can use these same methods for all 3 of them to help. So, all of these enemies are pretty threatening. For the Aldebaran specifically, for one, he's yet another recolor of the same boss that we fought in the last episode, being Judge's disciple. But this guy's definitely more challenging. Not only can he nail heavy damage and paralyze one of your girls, but he also has his own EX drive. He has a special. Crazy, right? And that can be deadly if you're not careful. As I said before, be sure to save before taking him on just in case he might be too hard for you. Maybe take on a few of the Saint Whales first. But once you feel ready to fight, one of the best things that you can do is have your EX gauge already filled completely. So fight a few grunts with the Rush combo and Combo Link attached to the goddesses to deal more damage and much more filling of the gauge as possible. For another, have Histoire or a DLC character up front for some extra power along with 2 CPUs of your choice. My choices for this fight were Neptune and Noir. Since Noir is immune to paralysis, she's a staple for this fight. Another thing you can do to make that status condition issue easier is equip your head goddess with the Sherasite drop you got from the fight with Moments. This is one of the most broken items in the game because it completely negates all status ailments from its wearer. So whoever has it on, no status issues will ever plague them again, and this can help a lot when grinding. Even with this, however, this guy can still hit you very hard. My suggestion at the start of the fight is to use stat boost skills not once, but twice on all 3 of your teammates. And if you use Neptune, use her stat multiplier skill to make her damage taken go way down. Once you're set, start demolishing that guard. Just be careful of his special. He can catch you by surprise with it, or at times he may not use it at all. Have some healing items or revival items on you just in case though. And if you have a healer on your team, use their skills very wisely. After you get the guard close to breaking, once again, be smart and look at your turn order before unleashing your special barrage. And this enemy may require all 3 of your teammates to use their special. It won't go down easily, that's for sure. Even if you hit successfully on 2 of your teammates and it still doesn't go down, you can probably still use your 3rd member or use their special, even if the guard is back up, and you can probably take it down. Once you take this big guy down, you will be rewarded with over 400,000 experience. Huge jump from before, but you'll definitely need it if you want this process to go faster. Also, one thing to know, sometimes using your special to finish off a boss can reward you more EXP. That is about the maximum you can get when fighting this boss, but if you beat it with a normal attack, your EXP may go down to 350,000. So keep that in mind when you fight it. Alright, and for the last method, it's actually a method found by somebody else that I found recently. I'll give them full credit for the method and I'll leave a link in the description to their video so you can check it out. It can be complicated though, because in order to execute this plan, you need an Add Enemies plan for a hidden dungeon known as Dong Kong Ruins. Yeah, real subtle reference there, Louis. And you can only get it from a certain chapter. I sadly messed up on this, so I was unable to try this method out myself. Some plans for dungeons can be missable, so you best keep that in mind. Okay everyone, that concludes my final Grinding 101 video for Rebirth 1. Just a little heads up, the maximum level for all non-DLC characters is 99. You won't be able to go further unless you purchase a DLC that allows you to go up further in level. You can go all the way up in level to 999 if you're crazy enough. As for me, I usually just stick with the level cap personally, but feel free to go higher if you want to. There are S-class fights in the Colosseum that require you to be over 900 in level. That's nuts if you ask me. But if you want to go even more, far from me to stop you. But just know, I'm not going to be posting more grinding methods past this. I'm just helping people get high enough to clear the game, not become godlike. But everyone plays their own way, so have fun with what time you have left in the game if you want. It's your game, your choice, your play method. No one's judging. Alrighty guys, that's about all I have to say here. I hope these methods are able to help you and were able to help you get through some tough spots in this game. Thank you all so much for watching and supporting this guide series of mine. I'm always happy to help others out if I'm able to, and I'm sure I'll find even more in the future once I find any more good methods. Alright guys, this is the NepQueen officially signing off for the series for the last time. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!